A New York City judge is right now delaying his decision on whether to grant Sean Diddy Combs bail. The judge told the courtroom just in the last hour that they will have to wait until next week for his ruling on whether or not to let Combs out of jail ahead of his criminal trial over sex trafficking and racketeering, which, as you know, is set to begin in May. Let's bring in NBC's Chloe Malas, who was in court today.
Nobody wants to be stuck in stormy weather wearing ponchos, but it's nothing compared to the storm brewing in a Manhattan courtroom today. Sean Diddy Combs, the hip-hop mogul turned business tycoon, remains behind bars as a judge delayed his decision on granting bail. Combs, facing serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, is set to go to trial on May 5th.
Chloe, so the judge is now delaying a decision here. What comes next?
Hey there, Tom. Well, listen, like you said, I was in that courtroom behind me for over an hour where both sides laid out their reasons, the government saying why they think that he should stay behind bars, and then you have his legal team saying that there are other individuals like Mike Jeffries, the former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO that was let out on a $10 million bail last month for the same charge of sex trafficking. The judge has said, listen, I want both sides to write a letter really putting a fine point on your reasons, either why he should stay behind bars or why he should be released. I will review it and give a decision next week. I just want to point out the prosecutors say that Combs has been obstructing justice, Tom, from behind bars. That he's been.
Today's courtroom drama unfolded with both sides presenting strong arguments. Prosecutors insist Diddy is a flight risk and a potential threat to justice. They claim he's been manipulating the system behind bars, using other inmates' phone accounts to make calls, what they call a strategy to intimidate witnesses and obstruct justice. He's pulling strings from behind bars, prosecutors argued, stating that his actions could tamper with the case and silence key witnesses.
Partaking in three-way calling, that he's used other inmates' PAC numbers, that's a way that they can dial out, and that he has used at least 8 other inmates' PAC numbers to make phone calls, and that they're worried, in case anybody out there is watching this and confused, well, like, why can't he be out on bail? Prosecutors are worried that he is going to tamper with witnesses and convince people not to testify, and that it's going to make it really hard ahead of his criminal trial for prosecutors, because remember, he's going to be, going to trial on May 5th in the courthouse behind me. It's not that far away.
Well, Chloe, weren't witness intimidation and coercion, wasn't that all part of the original charges as well?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, there have been a lot of motions back and forth over the last 2 weeks, Tom, and we know that this is the government's stance, but you have his.
On the other hand, Diddy's legal team is pushing back hard. They point to high-profile figures like former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries, who was granted bail last month for similar charges. Diddy's lawyers insist he deserves the same chance, proposing an ironclad plan if he's released. He'll stay in a secured Upper East Side apartment, monitored 24/7 by armed guards. 2 inside the apartment, 1 stationed in the lobby. No access to the internet or a phone. Only pre-approved family and legal counsel.
Saying this is all within his constitutional right to post on social media about his birthday and his family members, because the prosecutors say that he's doing a PR effort to try to taint a potential jury pool. They're saying that all the things that he's doing in the three-way calling and using inmates' PAC numbers are things that happen all the time at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, and that's not a strong enough reason to keep him behind bars. Now, I want to lay out the plan that Diddy's legal team has in case he is released. They say that he'll live in an apartment on Manhattan's Upper East Side with 24-hour security, 2 security officers in the actual 3-bedroom apartment, 1 in the lobby that would be.
His team is adamant that these conditions would eliminate any risk of witness tampering, but prosecutors aren't buying it. What if those pre-approved family members act as his messengers? They questioned. How do you control his reach in an age of influence? The courtroom was tense as Diddy, looking visibly distressed and noticeably thinner, sat in silence. His children, -1 were present, offering support during what is clearly an uphill battle.
Monitoring him 24/7, Tom. They say that he wouldn't have access to a cell phone, wouldn't have access to the internet, only talk to his attorneys and pre-approved family members. But again, the prosecutors say, well, what if you tell those family members to go out and do your bidding and try to tamper with witnesses? So as you can see, there is back and forth. It was very animated on both sides. Combs looking very serious, very thin, very distressed. And I also want to point out that all of his children, minus his infant child, were in the courtroom along with his mother. Tom.
Okay, Chloe Malas, thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
The judge, however, isn't rushing to a decision. He has requested both sides to submit detailed letters further outlining their arguments before he announces his ruling next week. So, for now, the stakes remain high, the tension thick, and the clock ticking. Will Diddy walk free under strict supervision? Or will he stay behind bars until his trial? One thing is certain: this story is far from over.